This is a 1-minute warning, 1 minute.
Great to meet you.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our 2026 Athletic Hall of Fame Induction Ceremony. I'm Christy Perrin, I'm the head of school, and we are thrilled to gather today to recognize this year's inductees. They are Terrence Clark, class of 2020, Matt Gilray, class of 2014, Trey Whitfield, class of 1989, Orlando Vandross, class of 1988, and the 2010 varsity field hockey team. I want to take a moment to recognize several special guests that are also with us here today. First, our former head of school, Dr. Michael Cooper, and his wife, Andrea. Our former chair of the board, Dan Mudge, and his spouse, Kathy Mudge, who is also a former trustee. I believe our current trustees, Jean Renier and Ron Bronzetti. Former athletic director, Bill Pottle. And former assistant athletic director, Kate Turner. This is CNBC event, by the way. We also have some of our previous inductees into the Hall of Fame. So a big round of applause for our previous inductees. And of course, I want to thank and recognize our faculty, our staff, our coaches, the teammates and friends who helped shape the journey of all of today's inductees, and of course, the families and the loved ones of our honorees today. So welcome. Thank you for being here, and for the many countless ways that you have supported these remarkable individuals and supported Brewster Athletics throughout the years. One of my favorite parts of reunion, which is when this ceremony falls, is the opportunity to hear stories. Stories about remarkable teams, about unforgettable moments, and about people whose impact continues to grow over time. And the truth is that a Hall of Fame event it's about much more than athletic achievements. It's about remembering the people that are behind the accomplishments and recognizing the ways that they continue to shape our community, years and in some cases even decades later. As I thought about this year's inductees, I kept coming back to one idea, and that is influence. The influence that they had on their teammates while they were here. The influence that they had on Brewster. And the influence that they continue to have on young people who may not even fully realize that they're following in their footsteps. This year, our girls varsity soccer team won a Lakes Region Championship and advanced to the NEPSAC Class C Finals. Our varsity golf team captured its 4th consecutive NASAD Championship. Our girls varsity tennis team went undefeated on its way to a Lakes Region title. And our boys national basketball team was ranked among the top 20 in the nation. Across our programs, our students competed with skill and with character and with commitment. But none of these accomplishments happen in isolation. Every athlete who competes for Brewster today was influenced by those who came before them. The culture that our students inherit, the expectations, the traditions, the commitment to excellence was built by generations of Bobcats, including the inductees that we're honoring today. And that's what I love most about the Hall of Fame ceremonies. They remind us that while records might eventually fall and banners might fade a bit over time, the influence of great teammates and leaders and competitors continues as one alumni class passes the baton to the next. And this year's inductees were each amazing athletes. But even more so, they are remarkable humans and friends and community members. They were kind, they were joyful, they were driven, and they helped shape the character of Brewster Athletics in ways that we continue to feel. When I look at this year's inductees, I see athletes whose influence spans generations. I see Terrence Clark, whose extraordinary talent brought national attention to Brewster basketball. As terrible and awful as it was to know that we lost Terrence far too soon, my memories of him are filled with joy. He was a light. He loved the game. He loved his teammates. He loved his community. He carried himself with an infectious positivity and youthful effervescence that drew people to him and made others better. I see Matt Gilray, one of the most accomplished multi-sport athletes Brewster's ever produced, and whose success has reflected both exceptional talent and relentless determination. I see Orlando Vandross and Trey Whitfield, whose contributions helped shape an important era of Brewster basketball and helped lay the foundation for the program that we know today. I never had a chance to know Trey personally, but every story I've ever heard about him makes me think he and Terrence would have been fast friends. Both are remembered not only for their athletic gifts, but for the joy and generosity and spirit that they brought to those around them. And I see the 2010 varsity field hockey team, whose success showed what can happen when talented individuals commit fully to one another and to a common purpose. I think today there's another special connection that deserves recognition. Both Terrence and Trey were taken from us far too soon, and yet their families made what I view as the remarkable choice to transform unimaginable loss into lasting good. They built scholarships, mentoring programs, they opened opportunities for young student athletes, and they even opened schools. They found ways to turn grief into purpose and to ensure that future generations could benefit from the lives that their sons lived. That legacy might be as important, far more important, than any championship or accolade that we celebrate today. But athletics was the vehicle. Together, all these inductees remind us that athletics can be one of the most powerful expressions of our mission, preparing diverse thinkers for lives of purpose. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate these outstanding Bobcats and their place in an impressive history at Brewster Academy. Now it's my pleasure to welcome our Master of Ceremonies for today, our Director of Athletics, Mr. Connor Wells.
Good afternoon, and welcome alumni, friends, family, guests, and all Brewster community members as we celebrate our most esteemed guests today, our Brewster Athletics Hall of Fame class of 2026. Mr. Orlando Vandross, class of 1988, Trey Whitfield, class of 1989, Mr. Matthew Gilray, class of 2014, Terrence Clark, class of 2020, and the 2010 varsity field hockey team. Amy Baker, Chelsea Gall, Kathleen LeBeouf, Hannah Skelly, Olivia Slifer, Coach Kim Yao, and Coach Janice Cornwall in attendance, representing this exceptional group today. Thank you all for being here with us on campus, a record crowd in attendance for a Hall of Fame event. Usually this event takes place in the Turner Hall of Fame room in the Smith Center, but we have moved here to our varsity event location due to our impressive number of registrants to celebrate this year's Hall of Fame class. The lives and stories of this year's inductee class are ones that speak to great and rich history of Brewster Academy. The inductee names and plaques displayed here on the stage will soon hang permanently with the other recognized members of the Brewster Athletics Hall of Fame in the Turner Hall of Fame room at the Smith Center, dating back decades and centuries. A note of logistics, the blue framed plaques on the stage here will remain at Brewster and hang in the Hall of Fame room. The displayed plaques that you see in front of you on the table at the front of the stage are to be taken home by our inductees or their parents in attendance. So to our inductees, please don't forget your personal take-home plaques up front after the ceremony. I'll remind you at the end. This is a special day for all of Bobcat Nation. We are inspired by these men and women and teams who committed themselves so fully to becoming better students, better athletes, better coaches, and better people in their communities. And in some cases, their legacies of who they were as people and the countless lives they've impacted is far greater than the short time that they were here with us. Our inductees have made those around them better, who they played with, who they worked with, who they instructed and coached, or who they have impacted long after their short time at Brewster. We celebrate great basketball players who have found their next career in coaching at some of the highest levels in the industry for 3+ decades. Orlando Vandross began working closely in his hometown community and who now dedicates himself to developing our next generation of elite student athletes. We celebrate the now near 40-year legacy of a young man of Brewster who left us too soon. Trey Whitfield was one of our first basketball stars, but whose impact on the Brewster community and his hometown remains an inspiration to all who knew him or to the countless who have learned about him. Former headmaster David Smith, who led Brewster during Trey's time here, sends his deepest regrets that he cannot attend today's Athletic Hall of Fame ceremony. As headmaster, David had the privilege of witnessing firsthand the profound impact of Trey's leadership, compassion, and athletic brilliance. Like the rest of our community, he also shared in the profound grief of losing Trey just weeks before graduation. David dearly wishes he could be with us today to celebrate Trey's enduring spirit and remarkable athletic achievements. He sends his deepest love and continued support to Trey's family, classmates, teammates, and friends. Additionally, David extends his warmest congratulations to all this year's inductees, thanking them for their lasting contributions to the Brewster legacy. We also champion a lacrosse superstar who dominated the prep school and collegiate ranks and who is still playing at the highest level professionally today. Matt Gilray has won league titles, professional championships, and international world championships. We celebrate one of Brewster's most exceptional and brightest basketball stars for his decorated prep career in elite NCAA Division I college play, but even more so for the long-lasting legacy that he has left for our school and his hometown community of Boston. We are so blessed to have so many members of Terrence Clark's family, nearly 40 family and friends in attendance with us here today to honor such a fine young man at Brewster. Finally, we continue to cheer for a team on the field hockey pitch who won it all, now 16 years ago, both league championships and New England championships, who produce players who continue to live lives of purpose and whose heroic story is a truly Brewster story, one of commitment and perseverance. It's now time to celebrate the Brewster Athletics Hall of Fame class of 2026. I will provide a brief introduction of each inductee, reading the inscriptions on their Hall of Fame plaques, and ask that they then come forward to the podium for a brief acceptance speech. Thank you to those family members in attendance who will accept on behalf of those inductees who are no longer with us. I will announce your names accordingly as well. After your acceptance speech, we'd love to offer a picture with Mrs. Karen, along with your formal plaque in front of the Brewster Bobcat backdrop. At the end of the ceremony, we will have more time for pictures for our inductees, their plaques with friends and family as well. So we'll leave all this set up for a while. With no further ado, first up, Orlando Vandross, class of 1988. Orlando came to Brewster in 1987 from Brockton, Massachusetts, as a postgraduate student athlete and key player on the boys varsity basketball team. Known for his shooting prowess, Orlando was a key contributor to the team's 1988 Lakes Region Championship. After Brewster, Orlando went on to attend and play men's basketball at American International College, AIC, in Springfield, Massachusetts, where he graduated in 1992. Vandross still ranks 13th in scoring at AIC and is 3rd on the career assist list. After his notable playing career, Orlando pursued coaching, a profession that has defined him for more than 3 decades. His coaching career began humbly and close to home as he served his local community at Brockton High School in the mid-1990s. He also became heavily involved at the state and AAU levels before rising to the NCAA Division I ranks. His most notable Division I stops have included 13 seasons at Boston University from 1997 to 2011 as an assistant and associate head coach, 5 seasons as an assistant coach at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte from 2011 to 2015, and 10 seasons at the University of Virginia as director of recruiting, player development, and assistant coach, a tenure that included an Elite Eight appearance in 2016 and a national championship in 2019. Most recently, in 2026, Vandross joined Old Dominion University's basketball staff as an assistant coach overseeing all aspects of the Monarchs' recruiting efforts. Known not only for his elite-level talent acquisition, but also for his exceptional relationship building and player development, Orlando Vandross has made a lasting impact on the sport. It is no surprise he returned to Brewster's campus many times over the years to recruit fellow Bobcats. continuing to build upon his already strong relationship with his alma mater. Presented May 30th, 2026. On this day, we hereby recognize and pay tribute to Orlando Vandross, 88, for his contributions to the Brewster basketball program and for his noteworthy career as a coach and mentor. Mr. Vandross, welcome to the Brewster Athletics Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much, Connor. That was a very interesting introduction. I was wondering, looking at my wife, who is he really talking about? I am really honored to be here. I'm trying to hold it together because of so many things when I step on this campus, and I'm being inducted with one of my favorite people that I've ever played with, Trey Whitfield. I know we alluded to it, but I personally spent time in the dorm, bus trips. I've seen the whole nine of Trey that maybe you wouldn't be able to see. And the reason why I still do what I do is because of him. He really knew how to draw people in, and I always was impressed how he did it. So I take a little bit of Trey with me everywhere I go in terms of my coaching. I'm trying to keep it together. So first and foremost, to all the inductees, congratulations. This is awesome, absolutely the best class of all the Hall of Fame classes. That's just my opinion, but I'm really honored to be here. I want to acknowledge Connor and the whole Brewster community who put this event together. We really appreciate it. Your efforts was phenomenal, the communication was unbelievable, and I really appreciate what you all have done and how you made me feel to be a part of this class. Before I move forward, I have two people that are here with me. My wife is here. This is her first time at Brewster, and I often would tell her about Brewster Academy, and I actually had some games, so now there's proof. So, my dad who's here, who has been a constant in my life. My mom she's passed on, and it's hard to explain parents as you get older. But more importantly, I'm so glad my dad's still with me. And I was going to cry. But my parents, it's hard for me to separate my mom from my dad because they were the first one to taught me team. And now I try to translate that with my children to my players every day. I'm not going to stand up here and cry anymore, but the one thing I can tell you about Brewster that it really opened my eyes. At the time, Brewster, you see today, wasn't a Brewster when I attended here. I'm not going to try to get political or racist or racial terms or anything, but I was a black kid coming from Brockton, Massachusetts, and this was an adjustment for me. My dad was driving up with me today, and he told me a story that I didn't know. I knew the story, but the context of it, I didn't know. There was a time I didn't even come out my dorm room because I was trying to get adjusted to the world here at Brewster for me. So my parents, unbeknownst, came up to check on me, but Coach Bowley reached out and called and said, I think I'm a little concerned about Orlando. And they came up, and parents do want to make sure you're okay. And I tell you, after that conversation, I started to immerse myself in this community. And it was the best decision I ever made in my life, how to acclimate yourself to something new. And I carried it everywhere I go. Coach Bowden, Coach Powell, I know Coach Powell's here. If Coach Bowden was here, I want to thank him for the opportunity to come to Brewster Academy. He afforded me an opportunity that I didn't even know that it was going to make a difference in my life. And I want him to publicly know that he made a tremendous difference, as well as Coach Powell in my life. Last thing. There's a young man by the name of Stu Dunlap that's here that was the head of admissions. As you can tell, I'm a put-together guy now, but if you met me in 88, 87, you probably realize that I was a wreck. True story, I came up for an interview, and I'm quiet by nature until I get comfortable, and I didn't say a word through the whole interview, and needless to say, I don't think I got admitted that day. Somehow, some way, by the grace of God, I came back for a second interview, and Stu Dunlap admitted me to Brewster Academy. So I want to publicly thank you for believing in me. last but not least, I want to say thank you again to this committee, to everybody for this opportunity. God bless you. I hope you have a great night.
One more time for Orlando. So I was slow on the draw. This should have been up while I was talking about Orlando, so we're going to just savor the graphic for a moment. You look good, Orlando. Trey Whitfield, class of 1989. Trey Whitfield came to Brewster as a sophomore student in 1986. He was introduced to Brewster by Stuart Dunlop, the Academy's former director of admissions. A member of Brewster's class of 1989, Trey was well known to students and faculty for always going out of his way to make his peers feel included and important. A talented player on the basketball court, his 1988 team won Brewster's first New England championship. Planning to play at the University of Richmond after Brewster, Trey tragically died in an accident just a few weeks before he was to graduate. After Trey's passing, his parents, A.B. and Jamie, founded the Trey Whitfield Foundation and also renamed, in their son's memory, the school they had founded in 1983, the Trey Whitfield School. Today, the Trey Whitfield School serves about 160 students and continues to earn accolades for its character-based and academically advanced curriculum, lifting elementary students in one of the most underserved areas of New York. Brewster is forever bonded with the Trey Whitfield School through our shared values and love for a young man who touched all of our lives. Mr. Stuart Dunlop continued to recruit and admit many Trey Whitfield School students to the Academy. Brewster proudly counts close to 40 Trey Whitfield School students among our alumni today. A framed basketball jersey bearing Trey's retired number 34 was created to permanently honor Trey's connection to Brewster's basketball program. The jersey currently hangs in the main lobby of the Smith Center, and a duplicate jersey is displayed at the Trey Whitfield School. A felt number 34 also sits on the wall in Radley Court among those of Trey's fellow basketball alumni who have played in the NBA, serving as a symbol to others that hard work, a strong character, and passion for others matter greatly to this community. Presented May 30th, 2026, on this day, we hereby recognize and pay tribute to Trey Whitfield, 89, for his contributions to the Brewster basketball program and for his long-lasting legacy. Trey Whitfield, welcome to the Brewster Athletics Hall of Fame. A special thank you and moment of recognition to Trey's father, A.B. Whitfield, who is here in attendance with us today, who has been present at all of Brewster's Trey Whitfield commemorative games and tournaments and numerous other events on campus over the years, who has brought dozens of Trey Whitfield School students to our beautiful campus, and who has been such a wonderful supporter of Brewster and its mission over the years. I am proud to say I have been truly blessed to get to know A.B. personally these past 5 years. Thank you, A.B. Per A.B.'s wishes, accepting this Hall of Fame honor today on Trey's behalf is the aforementioned Mr. Stuart Dunlop, Brewster Academy's former Director of Admissions. Mr. Dunlop, will you please come forward?
So I have to apologize in advance. My friend, boss, and mentor, David Smith, only let me speak publicly twice a year. In large part because I was very unpredictable and long-winded. So I apologize to all the honorees and parents and faculty members for taking perhaps more time. But Trey is somebody who's made an extraordinary impact on my life and the lives of so many people. And there's a lot of that story that hasn't been told that I'd like to share today with A.B. with your blessing. In the months following Trey's death, I would meet Coach Dave Bolduck down on the docks before the boathouse was built, usually with a 12-pack of beer. And we'd sit there and watch the sunset. Dave was becoming unraveled at that time, blaming himself really for Trey's passing and his failure to somehow save him and the kids who were in the boat that night. And there always seemed to be a particularly calm night, and we ended up throwing pebbles into Wolfboro Bay. And those of you who have done it, you know when you throw a pebble into a calm pool of water, the ripples run out. And over the years, as I've anticipated the day that Trey would be inducted, I've often thought about those ripples and my role in admissions and the students who I was blessed to get to know. And that really is the story, Orlando and Troy and Nelson, Curtis Nelson, of your lives. Those ripples go on and on and on and on, and Brewster was a place that allowed the Mike Clarks and all those friends who were close to Trey to touch each other. And one pebble led to more ripples and more ripples and more ripples and more ripples. So I thought about that over the years, and as I thought about that, it occurred to me that there were two tragedies that happened to Trey at Brewster, and in between was a gift that he gave to all of us, and that continues to give to this day. I actually met Trey and his father, A.B., at Cushing Academy, where I was a young director of admissions, fresh out of graduate school. My boss at that time, Judy Beams, my very first interview, said you were going to meet the father of one of our previous graduates, happened to play for the Dallas Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, and his 6'8", 14-year-old son. I was panicked. AB comes in, 50, 60 pounds heavier than he is right now, lifts me off the ground, gives me a big kiss on both cheeks. I'm not sure I said an entire word through the interview. Met Trey, fell in love with the family and both of them. Trey was in my dorm, which was filled with 14-year-olds. Kids from all around the country, little Korean kids, little Jewish kids, African-American kids, Puerto Rican kids. Trey towered over each of them by at least a foot and a half. And I'd come home after work and I'd hear this thumping and all this noise upstairs, and all these little kids would be tangled up with Trey. And you could hear this ruckus downstairs in the library, and I'd come up, yelling. Trey would look at me with his big goofy glasses and his big smile with these kids hanging over him. Everything's okay, Mr. Dunlap, I've got everything under control. I left Cushing to come to Brewster, and I got a call that fall, late summer actually, saying that Trey had been expelled from Cushing. It was never a fit for Trey. They saw a 6'8", 245-pound, 15-year-old and put football pads on. He'd been accused of assault by helping a young classmate, a friend of his, move her suitcases out of the dormitory at the end of the school term. A first-year young faculty member saw that, boys weren't allowed to be in girls' dorms, vice versa, panicked. The young girl panicked, and the next thing you know, Trey was expelled. I didn't find out about it till late August, when we were out at Dave Smith and Sheila Smith's cottage for faculty meetings, and the phone rang. And it was Dr. Joyce Ferris calling from Cushing Academy, who then went on to become Director of Studies here at Brewster for many years, and explained that Trey had been expelled, and it was a mistake, and he hadn't done it, and could we take it? So I picked up the phone and called AB and put Trey on. Trey was shyer than you, Orlando. And all I asked him is, what happened? And he told me. And I said, Trey, I believe you. Now, you can't talk about Brewster basketball without talking about David Smith, who realized when he became headmaster that winter is a pretty tough time. And you have to give the student body something to cheer about. So basketball was it. I'd only worked for David for about 6 months. I was just 24 years old. He didn't really know me. And I went to him outside of his cottage, and I said, here's the situation. We had a terrific kid, a terrific family. I want to admit him to Brewster. David thought about it for a minute, didn't ask a single question. Didn't ask what happened, what I knew, I made the phone calls. He said, if you believe in him, then admit it. 2 days later, after admitting Trey, Joe Curry, the headmaster at Cushing Academy, calls me and says, we understand Trey's come to Brewster. We'd like the family to know that he's welcome back. The girl walked into my office yesterday and recanted her story. We made a horrible, horrible mistake. Well, the die had been cast. You know, if Trey had stayed at Cushing, who knows? But he was at Brewster, and he fit us like a glove. And as you did, Orlando. The two of you were kindred spirits, and Trey fit quickly into Brewster life. Now, we have one more slot to fill in Trey's room, and we needed a soccer goal. Mike Clark, where are you? I've known Mike Clark from Northern Maine and his family for a number of years at a summer camp that I run, so I called up his parents and said, I know this is hard, but if Mike can get down here in 2 days, we've got a bed for him. Long story longer, Mike rolled into town with his dad and with his mother. It was a foggy night. Parents are crying. Mike had never been to Portland, right? Never been out of Northern Maine. Maybe never seen a person of color other than television. At which point I informed him that his roommate was going to be a 6'8" kid from New York. They're supposed to arrive at 9. They're supposed to arrive at 10. They're supposed to arrive at 11. It's a foggy night. I began to worry where AB could be. Knowing AB well at this point in time, there's AB time. He arrives when he arrives. Mike decided to go to bed. Jerry fell asleep. His father fell asleep in the other bed. And I'm standing outside of Sergeant Hall, and all of a sudden I see headlights and I smell skunk. And this big old Cadillac pulls in, and out gets AB, and out gets Trey, just bug-eyed. I have no idea where I am. They hit a skunk about 5 miles from Brewster as they pulled in. Got out of the car, went in, woke up Mike Clark. Trey comes in with a garbage bag filled with clothes. Mike's rubbing his eyes, waking up. Trey's towering over him. Trey takes one look at him and says, man, that is the ugliest blue bathrobe I have ever seen. Black kid from New York, white kid from Northern Maine, best friends. It was magic. Flash forward, we had a team. We had somebody from Orlando to pass the ball to. Troy Brown came to Brewster. And Curtis Nelson, we began to recruit terrific players. It's easy to do when you got a couple of 6'8" kids on the floor. That draws attention. And I remember one day I was having lunch before a game. Bobby Knight from Indiana, Gene Cady from Purdue, and Troy, who was the coach back then who was recruiting you from Providence. I'll think of his name. And it was the worst game that Brewster had ever played that season. We're playing New Hampton. It was just terrible. It was hot in the gym. New Hampton was playing poorly. Brewster was playing poorly. Troy was playing poorly. Trey was playing poorly. And I'm looking at these three coaches, thinking to myself, they're just going to get up and walk out. This is just a huge embarrassment and disappointment for these kids who had an opportunity of a lifetime to play at these incredible colleges. All of a sudden, Trey pins a layup from the New Hampton player against the backboard. Comes down, slaps it. Troy breaks to the wing. Trey passes to Troy. Trey fills the lane. Troy passes it to Trey. And Trey lost it in the air, and Troy tomahawks it. And the entire gym went silent. And the three coaches looked at each other, and they knew they had ball players that they could bring to the universities. The other story about Trey that I want to tell, besides the fact that there was so much more to him than basketball. I'm not sure there was a student during the time that I was at Brewster that was more loved, happier, friendlier, able to survive being expelled from one school, to survive that tragedy, to thrive and flourish, to participate in plays, friends who weren't athletes, friends who were athletes. He just brought a smile to everyone's face. And the story that sticks out the most for me is I admitted a young student named Molly. Molly had had a number of surgeries on her face to correct some birth defects. Just a brilliant, lovely, lovely young person. But teenagers being teenagers was sort of ostracized on campus. Not intentionally necessarily, but it's just difficult if you haven't been around somebody who's sort of been disfigured through a surgery. And I remember I was on duty one weekend, and we had a dance, and comically the girls are on one side, the boys are on the other side. And we've gone to great expense to put this fun night together, and no one's dancing, and I'm standing there talking to Trey. And I said, Trey, you got to do something. You know, but keep in mind, at 6'8", Trey thought he was a point guard with moves. He could dance, he could rap, he could sing. So Trey looks around the room and makes a beeline for little Molly. Little blonde-haired, facial disfigured a little bit. Not a fast song, a slow song. And he slow dances with Molly as the Brewster community watches the two of them. And within 5, 10, 15 minutes, everybody's dancing and having a great time. That was Trey. When it came to his team, and the story I'll finish on, when it came to his team, Bobby Knight called about a year later and wanted his son Pat to come to Brewster. Now, this was big stuff. This would really put Brewster Academy on the map. Pat was a terrific potential recruit. Bobby Knight was Bobby Knight. So I picked Trey to host Pat overnight. Spend it with us on campus, show him around, make it crystal clear, though, that you're here for your academics first. Basketball is part of that, but it's secondary. The next day, Pat goes off to New Hampton and interviews. We didn't hear anything from Coach Knight for the next day. We didn't hear anything the day after that. We didn't hear anything the day after that. Finally, I said to Trey, payphones back in those days, Trey, just call the kid up. Call Pat up. You've got his number. Trey looks at me and says, Mr. Dunlap, he goes, we don't want it. we don't want Pat Knight? Okay, you want to tell Coach Baldock, or do you want me to tell Coach Baldock? He says, we don't want him. He's not one of us. And I looked at Trey, and I knew in an instant, because we had such terrific players on the team who were so much more than basketball, who came together as individuals to be one of the greatest teams ever at Brewster. Not only did they put us on the map in terms of future players, but they put the community on the map. As coaches would come to campus, they were as equally interested in what we were doing academically as what we were doing athletically. Trey's death was a tragedy. I'll never forget that phone call from Sheila Smith, ever. I don't think any of us will. But when I sit by the water these days and I throw a pebble in, I realize that those ripples from his life are still touching all of us. It's brought so many wonderful people into the community, from the Trey Whitfield School, other athletes, people who have given in the same spirit that Trey gave to Brewster. We'll always miss him, but he's always with us. Thank you very much. Come on. All-American football player, All-American heavyweight wrestler, All-American track and field athlete.
Matt Gilray, class of 2014. A 3-year student at Brewster Academy, entering as a sophomore and hailing from Oshawa, Ontario. Matt was an exceptional standout for both the ice hockey and lacrosse programs. In hockey, he was a steady contributor, a 2-year varsity letter winner, and a key player for the Bobcats. On the lacrosse field, Matt is widely regarded as one of the best long stick defenders in school history. Gilray was a 3-time Lakes Region champion, a team captain, a 2014 All-America selection, and he set the school record for most points by a defenseman in a single season with 10 goals and 16 assists in his senior year. Back home in Canada, Gilray was an all-star pick at the Canadian Nationals and the 2011 Ontario Defenseman of the Year. An Inside Lacrosse Top 100 National Recruit in 2014, Gilray went on to study and play lacrosse at Bucknell University, where he was a 4-year letter winner and 2-year captain in 2017 and 2018. As a defenseman, he was named to the All-Patriot League second team 3 years in a row from 2016 to 2018, and was among team leaders each season in ground balls, caused turnovers, and scoring by a defender. Since graduating, Gilray has continued to build an accomplished professional career across multiple lacrosse leagues. The former MLL, Major League Lacrosse, the NLL, National Lacrosse League, and the MSL, Major Series Lacrosse. He won 2 MLL championships in 2018 for the Denver Outlaws and 2020 for the Boston Cannons. Currently playing for the Rochester Nighthawks in the NLL, he holds the franchise record for loose ball recoveries, 524, blocked shots, 49, and caused turnovers, 83. Competing for the MSL's Peterborough Lakers in the summer months, Gilray is also a 4-time Mann Cup winner, the trophy awarded annually to the senior men's box lacrosse champions of Canada. In 2024, Gilray won a box lacrosse world championship playing for Team Canada. Presented May 30th, 2026, on this day we hereby recognize and pay tribute to Matt Gilray, 14, for his contributions, very excited, for his contributions to the Brewster Athletic Program in lacrosse and ice hockey, and for his exceptional lacrosse career in college and professionally. Mr. Gilray, welcome to the Brewster Athletics Hall of Fame.
All right, wow. Haven't heard that much about me in a long time. First of all, I just want to say how honored I am being a part of a class with such amazing people, such people that have touched the community, touched sports, and Brewster. It's truly an honor to be selected with you guys. I can honestly say playing deep hours into the night of NHL and Sergeant Hall, I probably didn't expect to be here, but here we are. It's my guy. He is a chatty fellow. Before anything else, I need to acknowledge some people that without whom I certainly wouldn't be here. First, Mom and Dad. I'm going to read, so I try not to get too emotional. I'm unbelievably blessed to have you as my parents and role models. You show me every step of the way what it means to be a good person, to treat others with respect and kindness, to be a good teammate, student, husband, teacher, and father. I'd be completely lost without you, so can't put it into words how much you mean to me. From driving here as a recruit to only getting a little lost on the way through the woods in New Hampshire, the long drives to and from school, the phone calls, which on my fault probably wasn't enough, the surprise visits, the recruiting tournaments. You gave me the space to grow into who I was becoming. Sorry. And you were always exactly as supportive as I needed. My beautiful wife, Jill. So excited that you and the boys could be here this weekend. Having to experience what Brewster's like, the people, the community, the energy, is something I've wanted for years, and not just because I wanted another Huck sub. Coach G. There are words to express what you mean to me, and so many guys that have come through Brewster. From the moment we stepped on campus, you welcomed us in, inviting myself, Nate, Shanksy over every chance he got, guided us through those early days and made sure we were settled, constantly checked in, and supported us all 3 years. You also gave us some tough love when we needed it. Let me know when I was out of shape a little bit, especially when I chose to take photography class over fitness training. Got the classic, Billy boy, what are you doing? everything you did came from a place of love and thoughtfulness. You never hesitated to help us, even driving me from the hospital to the airport junior year. You're one of a kind. Obviously, Miss G, Miss Garnsey. I've missed her so much. She was like a mom away from home. I'll never forget that evenings and afternoons over at your guys' place. You welcomed with so much warmth and excitement. You created a home for a bunch of guys that were far away from their... you guys were really a family to me, so appreciate you guys. Coach Palmer, thanks for taking a chance on a guy you never actually saw play. Hopefully I fit in pretty well. The hockey team gave me my first friends at Brewster, and it was truly a family, so thank you so much. Coach Smith, though we didn't have many run-ins while I was at Brewster, I'm so grateful for you and the work that you put into myself and the lacrosse guys, especially in recent years. You're always someone that every athlete at the school admired, and for good reason. Your repeated excellence, being such a great role model for your players, went such a long way. Connor, thank you for organizing this, everything you do at Brewster and for the lacrosse program. It's much appreciated from the alumni. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention the incredible teammates who became lifelong friends. Ryder Garnsey, Nate McKenzie, Cody Livermore. My best friends and teammates all 3 years. Guys like Cody O'Donnell, Johnny Mack, Brandon Tonsberg, Mike Clement, Trey Adams, Kevin Murphy, Brian Shea, Chris Dracos, Andrew Hood, all who made my time here unforgettable. My years at Brewster were some of the most meaningful and influential in my life. There were tough moments, having surgery junior year, and rehabbing it to get back for the last couple games of the year, to almost having our season canceled senior year. That was a tough one, near miss, but we made it through. There were so many incredible moments all the way. I'll be forever grateful for. When I first visited, I was blown away by the campus and the facilities. This place is beautiful, second to none, as everybody here knows. But what truly makes Brewster special is the people. Everywhere you turn, there's someone willing to go out of their way to help you, staff, students, families. Brewster family is real. You can feel it every single day that you're here. It's such an incredible honor to be placed alongside amazing athletes, people, and legends. When you look around the athletic center, you see some names, some jerseys on the wall, championship banners, and just to be mentioned amongst those people is a truly special honor. I'm so grateful that my beautiful wife and my boys can be here today, crawling on the stage and making a little bit of a ruckus. Just to get to see a place that shaped so much who I am. My time at Brewster was filled with so many memories, some once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, and truly life-changing people. I wanted to thank everyone that made it possible for me to be here today. It's been an incredible weekend. It's been amazing to be back. When I got the call a month ago, it was a true surprise, but it was a dream come true, so thank you so much. Now, I just have to convince Jill to let our boys come kind of far away from home for high school so that we'll have an excuse to visit more often. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Terrence Clark, class of 2020. Arriving at Brewster Academy in his sophomore year, Terrence had an immediate impact on campus as a hardworking, kind, and sincere young man, as well as an incredibly gifted basketball player. Hailing from Boston, Massachusetts, Clark was a key contributor at shooting guard for the program's 2019 National Prep Championship. During the following season, 2019 to 2020, Clark averaged 18.3 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 3 assists as Brewster concluded the regular season and New England regional play with a 34-3 record before the COVID-19 pandemic ended the National Prep Finals. In the fall of 2019, Clark was rated a 5-star recruit by Rivals, ESPN, and 24/7 Sports. After evaluating offers from Boston College, Duke, Memphis, Texas Tech, and UCLA, Clark announced his commitment to attend the University of Kentucky. He reclassified to the class of 2020 and entered Kentucky as a student athlete later that fall. In his freshman season, Clark scored a career-high 22 points against Georgia Tech in December and was viewed as an elite NBA prospect. Clark then declared for the 2021 NBA draft. In late April of 2021, just 3 months prior to the NBA draft, Terrence's life was cut short after a tragic accident that occurred while leaving a training session in Los Angeles. In July of 2021, between the 14th and 15th picks of the NBA draft, Commissioner Adam Silver selected Clark as a ceremonial pick, fulfilling his dream of being drafted into the NBA. Since Terrence's passing, his impact on his community and the basketball world has been immense. Both the TC Clark 5 Foundation and TC 5 Community Give Back event were established in his memory, honoring his legacy through community initiatives that foster a spirit of generosity, unity, and perseverance within the Boston community. His family, Clutch Sports Group, and professional basketball players such as Boston Celtics All-Star Jaylen Brown have collaborated to honor Clark's life and give back to the city of Boston and the communities that made him who he was. Presented May 30th, 2026, on this day, we hereby recognize and pay tribute to Terrence Clark, 20, for his contributions to the Brewster basketball program and for his lasting legacy. Terrence Clark, welcome to the Brewster Athletics Hall of Fame. Thank you to the dozens of family and friends of Terrence who are present today to celebrate this young man's impactful legacy and Hall of Fame induction. We are honored that a few family members will be offering words of acceptance for Terrence today. Please join me in welcoming first to the podium Terrence's mother, Osmond Clark.
Good evening, everyone. First, I want to thank Brewster Academy and everyone who made this moment possible for this incredible honor. It truly means so much to me and my family. When Terrence first walked through these doors of Brewster Academy, he came.
He came with a dream, determination, and a drive to be great. But what made him truly special wasn't only what he accomplished on the court, it was the way he treated people along the way. He carried himself with kindness, loyalty, humanity, and love. He had a way of making people feel seen, valued, and supported, whether they knew him for years or only for a moment. Terrence wasn't just an amazing athlete, he was an amazing son, brother, friend, teammate, and person. The impact he left reaches far beyond basketball. His spirit, his smile, his energy, and the way he loved and gave to others are things that will continue to live on in all of us. Although we wish he could be here to experience this moment himself, we are incredibly proud to stand here and celebrate him. I know he would be honored, humbled, and proudly smiling that smile we all knew so well. Congratulations, Terrence. You earned every bit of this honor, so much more. We love you, we miss you every day, and we will continue to carry your legacy with us forever. Thank you.
Please now welcome Terrence's great aunt, Marilyn Martin, and Terrence's uncle, Russell Martin, to join us at the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marilyn Martin, and I am one of Terrence's great aunts. Our family would like to thank Brewster Academy for inviting us here to witness the induction of Terrence Scott into the Brewster Hall of Fame, alongside the past and new inductees. We appreciate your commitment and guidance that helped to pave the way for Terrence to become who he was, while enjoying his love for basketball, even though his dreams were cut short early in his career. We know in our hearts that Terrence would have been honored to be part of Brewster's Hall of Fame. Again, our family would like to thank the members of and staff of Brewster Academy for having us here to celebrate this special occasion.
Congratulations to all of the inductees for the Hall of Fame. Give you a round of applause. Family wants to thank each and every one of you for inducting Terrence into this illustrious Hall of Fame. And one of my proudest memories is being able to come in and see him get the McDonald's All-American at that game that was here. So, I can keep it brief. We're just truly grateful. Unfortunately, Terrence can't see everything through physically, but I'm sure he's looking down at us and clapping and laughing as we're cheering him on. So thank you again. Appreciate every one of you.
The 2010 varsity field hockey team. The 2010 varsity field hockey team made Brewster Academy history, capturing both the Lakes Region Championship and the NEPSAC Class C New England Championship in the same season, the first double championship in school history for field hockey. The team battled adversity throughout the season, may not have been anyone's favorite for league or New England champion, but whose story is one of passionate play, togetherness, and a never-quit attitude. Presented May 30th, 2026, on this day we hereby recognize and pay tribute to Brewster Academy's 2010 varsity field hockey team for its teamwork, character, and heart. The 2010 varsity field hockey team members: Shelby Alessandroni, Tony DiGeronimo, Sarah Geisel, Chelsea Gall, Hillary Grief, Jessie Ann Howard, Alice Hughes, Catherine LeBoeuf, Nicole Levesque, Amy Macera, Goldie Paul, Rachel Paul, Hannah Skelly, Elizabeth Sterchel, Jolie Waring, Olivia Hadley, Olivia Zwieber, Keisha Blair, Sakari Joseph, head coach Kim Yao, and assistant coach Janice Cornwell. 2010 varsity field hockey, welcome to the Brewster Athletics Hall of Fame. Coach Kim Yao and Captain Chelsea Gall will speak for us here. The whole team's coming up. Welcome them up.
How is everyone tonight? Thank you for coming. All right. I don't think any of us could have imagined that back in 2010, that a group of girls who were constantly covered in grass, dirt, bruises, and probably surviving on dining hall cookies would end up standing here in the Hall of Fame together. But somehow, here we are. When I came to Brewster as a freshman, honestly, I didn't know much about field hockey. I certainly didn't know that this sport and this team would end up shaping such a huge part of my life. What I walked away with was so much bigger than championships. I left with lifelong friendships, unforgettable memories, and a sport that I truly fell in love with. What made this team so special is that we were all so different. Different personalities, different backgrounds, different strengths. But somewhere along the way, we figured out how to become completely connected. And a huge part of that was because of our coaches. Our coaches believed in us before most people did. Every practice, they prepared us for every possible situation, making sure we were ready for teams like Exeter, St. Paul's, Holderness, and every ranked team that probably underestimated us. They focused on every little detail of the game. And honestly, some of my favorite memories had nothing to do with the scoreboard. It was the coaches' one-way tickets, the late night cutting the grass before playoffs, the accountability, the game day energy. If you saw our coaches before a game, it was always that same smile, the same confidence, the same feeling of, let's go do this. That belief became contagious. And I do have to say, there is truly nothing better than beating another Lakes Region team. I'm pretty sure those games took at least 5 years off of our lives. Whether it was New Hampton, KUA, Proctor, Tilton, or especially Holderness, those games just meant more. And beating Holderness in the playoffs, I don't think anything will ever top that. Going into the NEPSAC tournament as the 7th seed, no one was really talking about Brewster, and honestly, I think we liked it that way. Our coaches never let us get caught up in the rankings or reputations. It was always one game at a time, one possession at a time, and that mindset carried us through upset after upset against the number 2, number 3, and eventually the undefeated number 1 seed. Recently, I listened to Tom Brady talk about resilience and adversity, about how success comes from embracing challenges and refusing to quit when things get hard. That was our team. And I'll never forget the final minutes of that championship game. There wasn't some huge speech or dramatic moment. It was always unspoken. We all just looked at each other and knew we can do this, but we have to stick together. And we did. To me, that's what I'll always remember the most about this team. Not just the banners or the trophies, but the heart, the resilience, the trust we had in one another. So thank you to Brewster Academy, to our coaches, and especially to my teammates. Thank you for giving me a place where I grew up not only as an athlete, but as a person. What we accomplished together was incredible. But the fact that all these years later, we can still come back together and feel this connection again, that might be the greatest win of all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chelsea. Wow, it's all coming back. We feel so blessed to accept this honour with our team and share so much thanks to Brewster, as it means so much to all of us. It is so uplifting to be reunited in person and in spirit. As coaches, we share a deep belief and love for our student athletes to this day. And albeit over 15 seasons ago, when we take a moment to pause. The 2010 season quickly comes into sharp focus. Rewind to your former awesome high school selves. What an absolute blast and privilege it was to coach all of you. Here lie a few glimpses into our phenomenal journey together. Remember your varsity field hockey player profiles, including your position, number, sports, accomplishments, awards, and for you to describe, in your own words, field hockey in one word. Well, we do. Chelsea Golf, determination.
Jesse Howard, competition.
Jolene Waring, feisty.
Sarah Geisel, awesome.
Hillary Graff, tenacity.
Rachel Paul, live, laugh, life. Yes, that's 3 words.
Liz Sturchill, tenacity.
Liz Weber, difficult.
Tony DiGeronimo, beautiful.
Olivia Hadley, awesome.
Ali Hughes, intense.
Amy Mazira, awesome.
Goldie Paul, dedication.
Hannah Skelly, interesting.
Nicole Lavask, rewarding.
Shelby Alessandroni, exciting.
Catherine LaBeouf, glory. We were clearly looking into our crystal ball.
All true and from the heart. In fact, heart would come to be a constant amongst our team. We called upon you all to show us your best performance, best attitude, best commitment over the course of the season, and you delivered.
Thank you, team. Together, we showed Bobcat spirit and team unity. We stayed focused and demonstrated drive and determination. We learned our lesson, stayed grounded, and showed resilience to rise up. And as a team, we stayed steady in our confidence of ourselves and teammates. Our spirits were high and our belief palpable. And fast forward to the tournament championship, where there was nothing but Bobcat belief in the Brewster camp. A few game highlights, because we're so proud of all of these athletes. BA Varsity Field Hockey, number 7, faced off against Seed 1, and we loved being the underdog. Game on against the undefeated opposition, Newton Country A. The pace was fast, the pressure was on, the team was tested, but we did not falter. Intensity was high, yet we locked into our tactical game on the counter-attack, and it was all out, and there was no question that we would lay it all on the line.
Newton Country Day fought hard, yet the Bobcats pulled even closer together. Knowing this would be the biggest test of character. The team defeated the number 1 seed, 3-1, and made Brewster history, capturing both the Lakes Region Championship and the NEPSAC Community Championship.
We were so proud of every single player. Through our journey together, and most of all, and most importantly, we cherish this team for the amazing human beings you were and are. Thank you so much.
Hall of Fame inductees, as fellow Bobcats, we ask that you continue to be great representatives of Brewster Athletics, and all of Bobcat Nation. There may not always be magazine covers and interviews, nor thousands and thousands of fans, but please know that you have impacted all of us in this community, your community, and the thousands of Brewster students who have looked at and who will look at the walls of the Turner Hall of Fame room and read your inscriptions. That area is actually a major walkway and also a quasi-training area in our athletic center, which I love as students are constantly in the space and able to read your plaques. Thank you all for your service and continued service to Brewster. Photo opportunities will remain available in front of our displayed plaques in the Bobcat backdrop. Each inductee or parent, please also be sure to take your personal take-home plaque up here on the front table before you depart. Yes, all 2010 field hockey team members and coaches in attendance, we have personal plaques for each one of you. We hope to see many of you at Reunion Weekend Dinner, which is 5 minutes from now, in the Grayson Student Center at 5:30. This concludes our formal Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Thank you all once again, and go Bobcats.
Is that right? You guys are big shoes. Fill them up. All right, very good.